Hi, I'm Dr. Colleen Andruss, and I'm a board-certified internal medicine physician, also board-certified in the field of obesity medicine now for 24 years. I am also a coach in the Get Fit 21 program. So how are we valuable to others? How are we as coaches valuable? We are valuable if we have knowledge. And if we have knowledge, we can teach. So today, I would like to teach you a little bit about protein. How do you optimize protein in such a high carbohydrate world, right? So what is one of the main topics of the Get Fit 21 program? We start our day off with a great protein source. We've got our Unicity Lean Complete. And I'm going to talk about why that is so important. So basically, on average, our body requirements for protein is somewhere between 1.2 and 1.5 grams per kilogram. We can go as low as 0.8 grams per kilogram, as high as 3 grams per kilogram, average 1.2 to 1.5, okay? Now, that gets kind of complicated, but it's a more specific way to look at things if you really want to do that. But back last fall, the Obesity Association came out with a really, really simple rule. And basically that rule of thumb states, if you are into losing weight, specifically fat weight, we want to target that belly fat, then we need a minimum of 90 grams of protein a day. So what they did was they took that 90 grams and they did some studies. They let some people eat that 90 grams throughout the day whenever they wanted. And they had another group of people who ate that 90 grams in equal distribution of 30 grams per meal. Now, again, this is minimum, all right? So some people do require more than that. But when they measured thermogenesis and metabolic parameters like muscle mass and protein synthesis and basal metabolic rate, they found that the group of people that ate the protein in equal distribution of 30 grams per meal minimum, they had higher metabolic rates, they had higher protein synthesis and higher protein turnover, and higher what they call thermogenesis. All different metabolic factors that are measured. So we now call this the 30-30-30 rule. So, but number one, if you're into fat loss, we still have to be in a calorie deficit mode. That is law of physics. Nothing is ever going to change that. We have to be taking in less calories or burning more. So we call that a calorie deficit mode. That is rule number one. Rule number two is we need a minimum of 90 grams of protein a day. And we're going to do that in equal distribution of a minimum of 30 grams per meal. Why? Because if you're in a calorie deficit mode and we don't have 90 grams of protein, you are going to lose some muscle mass. And if you're going to lose some muscle mass and you're going to lose a little bit of fat as well because you're in a calorie deficit mode, what's going to happen? You're going to end up with a smaller version of you. Your belly's still going to be the bigger part of your body, right? So if you're in a calorie deficit mode and you've got adequate protein there to maintain that muscle mass, what are you going to lose? You're going to lose the belly fat. So we've got to have the protein there to maximize the fat loss. So where do we get these protein sources from? Because some proteins are pretty high in calories and some proteins are high in fat and not that healthy for us, right? So it's hard to find good, adequate protein. So the number one source of what we call protein-dense food, meaning high protein, low calorie, is still going to be your animal proteins. It's still one of the best things you can do. Obviously, our chicken, our fish, our seafood, our pork, our beef, okay, all of those things give us great sources of protein, but we do want to minimize the amount of red meat that we use because of the fat content that is there. But animal proteins are still our number one source. The number two source used to be dairy, nuts. Now it has become our protein supplements. And our nuts are number 3 and our dairies are actually number 4. our eggs, our yogurts, our cottage cheese. Third is going to be our nuts and our beans. But second is now our protein supplements. Why? Because we now have great science, and we have the science to figure out what kind of protein supplement is going to be the best for us metabolically, what is going to be the best to maintain our muscle mass and our body composition, and what is the best for our thermogenesis. And that is a blended protein. A blended protein can be used as a meal replacement if it has the correct nutrient value. It must have at least 90 to 100% of the adequate nutrients on that back label. So our Unicity Lean Complete is a blended protein. It is a combination of whey, soy, milk protein, casein protein. I believe there's 6 different vegetable proteins. All those different proteins are being absorbed in our system at different rates, which is why a blended protein keeps us metabolically more active longer, and it's going to keep us satisfied between those meals. Now, if you want a good protein for a post-recovery, to build that muscle, maintain and repair that muscle, then use a whey protein. Whey protein is the first protein that gets absorbed. So our Quadplex, our Unicity Quadplex is great as a post-exercise protein drink. But if you're going to do it as a meal, we want that Lean Complete. Why do you think it's called Lean Complete? Because it is a complete meal. Now, our Lean Complete, a serving size gives us 20 grams of protein. So we might want to add a little something to that, maybe a hard-boiled egg, or a fresh egg in there if you want to blend it. Or we can add in some yogurt, or you know what I do? I just put 3 scoops in. And that's what I tell my challengers to do in my 21-day program, is to just do those 3 scoops. And it really keeps them satisfied until that next meal, so that we can go that 4-4-12, we can go that 6 hours in between and really get into that 4 to 6 hour fat burning zone that we know so well, right? Which is such a big part also of the Get Fit 21 program. So again, we want to maximize our thermogenesis. We want to maximize the body composition. We want to maintain that muscle mass. We want to create satiety and satisfaction between meals. And how are we going to do that? We're going to do that with a blended protein, and we are going to do that with our Unicity Lean Complete. It is a principle that we teach from the very, very beginning of this 21-day program. And we're going to do that every single morning for those 21 days and probably forever. And in that first week, and sometimes the first 2 weeks, if our program goes a little longer, like our transformation program, we might do it longer because we want to get our bodies into ketosis, fat burning. So again, Lean Complete, a very, very good, adequate, metabolically efficient protein supplement. 90 grams of protein minimum per day, split between meals, 30, 30, 30. Thank you.